the more that the corporate world can look outside of the corporate landscape for solutions, the better they will be, the stronger they will be, the smarter they can be.
The one thing that people are valuing more are relationships, how you communicate with people.
I'm so glad you said that.
And that's something like we just need our two teams. We need our engineers and our salespeople to talk.
All right, so welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Account Management, a tactical guide to success. That was hard. A tactical guide to success. You got your host here, Fred Fuller, and my co-host, my compadre, my main man, the hooded falcon, John Brown.
Hi, Fred. Pimento cheese Fuller.
No, we talked about this. I cannot be named after a food. We had rules.
Grape seed.
We had rules. We have what do we have on deck today?
Fred, I'm pretty excited about today. We're going to talk about a topic that is really exciting to me. It's about improv and using improv skills in your account management role. And this came about because in a previous life, you and I actually brought an improv team to help out our team to kind of, in terms of their ability to deal with clients improvisationally and not read the slides and get bogged down in the thing and stop listening and not answering questions. And it really helped with that. We did the same thing in another role I was recently in. Amazingly effective, and also fun and hilarious. And it's all the things. Yeah.
And it is an incredibly powerful tool that we've both used. We also tried to do this podcast without having an expert. And that was a soup sandwich.
It was a
fiasco wrapped inside of a mess.
In a dumpster fire.
Yes. So we have with us today a special guest, a very special guest, Tim Stoltenberg, who is the creative director at Dad's Garage Theater here in Atlanta, Georgia. Tim, how the heck are you, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me with you guys today to talk about improv. Which I'm honored that you think I'm an expert in it. That's great. Because I know nothing about accounting. So nothing. I am not accountable for anything in my life.
Well, I gotta say, when we asked you to come on, and I thought this will be great. We'll talk about improv. This is going to be a really wonderful experience. But then you demanded to have everything scripted.
Yeah, everything. This is all written. I've memorized all these lines.
Everything is memorized.
Yeah. You guys have your script. I should have brought my computer script.
That would be impressive.
That's right. Yeah. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. So, Tim, if you don't mind, tell the folks a little bit about who you are, your background.
Let's see. I've been improvising for 26 years, and I've been good at it for maybe 10. It takes a long time to get good at any art, and it is an art, and it has been a wonderful skill for me to use as an actor, as a teacher, as a writer, a director, a producer, any of the roles that I've been in. Improv has been the base of how I operate, which has been great. And I've always been involved in theater, and I was in college doing a show, and we had some alumni in the show, and backstage we'd be doing bits or jokes. And I didn't understand what we were doing. I thought we were just doing bits. And then finally one of them was like, we're doing improv. And I was like, what is this improv? I've done it in theater class. And they ran an improv theater. So I went over there and started doing improv there, took classes. And it was sort of, as a young actor, I wasn't very good as an actor. So improv allowed me to continue to be an actor. I could do Shakespeare. I could do this on the weekends because no Shakespeare company would hire me. So it just became this thing. And then I really started to love it. And I really felt that I found my voice and how to be an artist. And through the years, it's given me a wonderful opportunity to, be at Dad's, to learn at Dad's, to develop programs, allowed me to go to Second City and train and work with them, tour the world, be on commercials and other wonderful film projects that I got to do. I did one this past summer where it's called Student Film, the movie out of the Clemson Film Department, and it was half improv. So they wrote it to be like they wanted an improviser to help shape the script. for the scenes. They gave me wonderful framework, and so I'm really in awe of what improv has given me and allowed me to also like have a career using it, but also then to teach it and share with other people the wonderful skills that I think it has.
Yeah, and I put, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I put improv in the same bucket as stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Right? Like in terms of the skills that you need, the thing about stand-up comedy that's so incredible to me is the ability to have this material that you've rehearsed 1,000 times, and then you stand up in front of an audience and make it sound like it's all just coming right off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Like the ability to do that is incredible. And improv has a similar characteristic. Is that safe?
Yeah, I think to me, really good improv looks very natural. Looks like it's just three guys around a table talking, right? It's and everybody's like, oh, I want to do that. It's so easy. And then when they get in there, they realize like how hard it is.
Yeah.
And we were talking before, is like, I think with improv, like there's a period of time where you're just banging your head against the wall to understand the mechanics, to understand like how it works. And then one day it's like a switch gets thrown in your head and you're like, it's just like talking. And you're like, yeah, it's just talking, because the skills of it made you a better communicator, collaborator. Yeah, it taps into your creativity. It makes you a better listener. Like, the one thing improv has really made me as a better partner in a relationship, because I listen.
Yeah.
Very intently.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, that's a great segue.
Yeah.
Right? John, did you want to take that segue?
No, I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm
Yeah.
single, by the way, but yeah.
Well,
yeah. So
talk about that more later.
Let's not rush to conclusions.
You know the question I'm going to ask. Do you find that so all the kind of comedies that I love tend to be people who are doing well? Let me back up and say, Dad's Garage. If you live in Atlanta and if you haven't been, go. People in the audience, amazing, hilarious, fantastic. It's done so many amazing things. And Dad's Garage has been the place that has done the trainings that I've commissioned where I've been at. So just can't say enough good things. Anyway, but have you noticed that like for me, all the great comedies are like, if you think of like Best in Show, or Spinal Tap, or like all the like, or Larry David, or some of these like all the like truly imaginative comedies are kind of mostly improvisational, right? Like. And so, am I wrong to think that? Like, it seems like that is the funniest stuff.
I think so, to me, and that's my opinion, right? And I think because they spend so much time to find the authentic character and the authentic connections, but then also when you go away from it, and you see this in bloopers or movies, like we kept that in there because it was such a great improv, because it was honest. Right. Somebody was really listening and had an honest response in the moment. That's what made it feel so authentic, right? Instead of the script. And don't get me wrong, it's really, really hard to make a script sound authentic and find the voice, but those magic moments are based out of improv.
Yeah, it seems that way to me.
Yeah. So you're right.
So the point I guess I'm trying to make is, in some way, well, it's a long word to use maybe, but it's more serious than people think, right? Like it's a skill, and it takes everything to the next level. And to your point a minute ago, it takes the relationship to the next level.
Yes,
you do this well.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you. So I'm taking the level 2 class right now at Dad's Garage with improv, whatever.
That sounds like failing up.
And I cheated. I cheated. I did.
It's a great way to say that.
Skipped right past 1, and they didn't even know I was in 2 until I just said it. So, it is. There's a technical component to what you're doing in improv that, when done well, nobody knows what's going on, right? But taking the classes and understanding how you build that platform and establish relationships and the things that you have to do in a nanosecond so that it all makes sense to the audience, right? And so there's this technical component in boxes being checked as the actors are doing the improv that is setting it up for the audience in a way that's consumable. Is that fair?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to say it. I think, for me, improv is not so much about showing how smart and funny and creative you are, but it's the real skill of being aware of what you're already a part of. And we do this all the time. Like if you walk into a room and your partner, you can sense they're hurt, and you're like, oh, wait, are you okay? Like you would respond to that. So it's an awareness of relationships, awareness of scenarios, awareness of energy in the room that we do as humans naturally, but so many barriers come up. I think improv allows us to get back to that. Listening, responding, communicating, all the simple things that we make complicated.
I almost don't want to title this episode, how to use improv and kind of account stuff, because like then people think it's like you have to be a comedian, and like that's actually not it at all. That's the point you're making, and like that's a fantastic point.
It's the single biggest challenge, excuse me, when I've done improv with my teams is they all feel this like we're going to get up, we're going to have to get up on stage, and we're going to have to be funny, and we're going to have to, and you're like, no. And after you go and do it, or they come and do the lesson, everybody's like, oh, that was great. But what they build up in their head is like,
I have to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Which is really because working with companies, organizations, and in teams is that we found that the same skills we use in our room to develop a script, to find the joke, to build the character, all that are the same skills that a lot of different careers use. Our goal is to make comedy.
Right.
Your goal is to make the numbers line up, or to find satisfaction with the client, or whatever it may be.
Mr. Big Shot CFO.
yeah.
So sometimes the number.
But it's the same skills as that, just different outcomes.
Yeah. And so in your experience at Second City and here and in other places, you have experience or exposure actually leveraging improv skills in kind of a corporate setting, right?
Yeah.
So you've done some of this training, yeah?
Yeah, a lot of working with companies. And it's strange because they're like, we just want to be a better team.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, everybody wants that. But what does that mean? And what does that look like to be a better team? And I think if you ask anybody in any relationship, like what makes a relationship is feeling that you're heard.
Yeah.
Being able to communicate back and forth and solve problems.
Which is building trust.
Huge, right? And empathy for one another. That's it.
Yeah.
It's you make it sound so simple. These are some of life's greatest challenges. It's like communication 101. Like,
Yes.
I told my son came home from school. He's in middle school, and I pick him up. He gets in the car, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? This is years ago. And he's like, oh, who's fine? And I'm like, oh, what's going on, right? And he talks about some of the kids, and they were picking on him a little bit, and I maybe a little bit premature, but I had this conversation with him around, look, working with people is the hardest thing that we do.
Oh my God.
It is the single hardest thing. Like work takes care of itself. Technology takes care of technology. In an AI world, working with people is the hardest thing we do.
Hardest thing.
And if you have tools that can help you get better with that, and improv is one of those tools.
Yeah. I was just working with some young professionals, and they were getting up, introducing themselves. And one of the main guys is in real estate, and it got thrown to him, and he's like, I'm in real estate. And I'm like, that moment in my mind, I was like, everybody knows what real estate is. Like you sell homes. So it's not the what, it's the why. And in my mind, it was like, instead of leading with I'm in real estate, it's who's ever had the move? Everybody's like, oh yeah. And you're like, it's really hard, right? And like, sometimes you just want someone to give you that one step to get you in that direction. That's what I do. I help you find not your house, but I help you find your home. And the idea of connecting emotionally and listening to what people are really asking for is they want to make things easier. Because we've all moved, and it sucks. It's a pain.
What?
When you get to it, you're going to hate it, right?
Oh, okay.
But in my mind, is like, that's one of the skills in improv is like listening and try to find that way to connect to people instead of just, this is what I do, but why do you do something? And improv helps us develop those skills of understanding the why more than the what, I think.
Yeah, one of the interesting things in the class is this notion of the more detail, the better.
Yeah.
Right? And so what you're talking about a little bit here is storytelling. Right? Like I'm in real estate. Okay. But if you go to the why, then you get into like, now I understand what you do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So storytelling is absolutely critical, and you do effective storytelling through details.
Yeah.
Right?
And that builds the trust and the empathy we were kind of talking about. It's like, if you get a bunch of people in the room and you start connecting, people will share stories about themselves. Like, oh, this one time my car broke down. Oh, this one time my car broke down. And like now everybody's sharing with one another. And when we share and we're vulnerable, we're rewarded with listening.
Yep.
Because people are like, oh, wow, that happened to you? And then if the next thing goes well, is they add to it. And now you're creating something together.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do we get there is the hard part.
I think there's another really interesting exercise that I've done as part of this with a team, and it was being in a circle, and it starts with, "Did you hear the gorilla escape the zoo?" And the next person says they escaped and they got a Coke, and then they escaped and they got a Coke, and they went blah blah blah. And so everybody has to remember what was said before them. And when it comes to about halfway point, right? If it's a big enough circle, it gets to about the halfway point. Everybody is so focused on the first things that were said, right? Oh, gorilla and a Coke, and he went bowling, and and you don't hear the last two things that were said. And I'm like, what an interesting case study, right?
Yeah.
Like as soon as I start thinking, the listening is turned off.
Yes.
Right?
Because we're worried about ourselves.
Yeah.
Worried about what I'm going to say, worried about what I can remember, right? And the good listening is not myself, but other people. And I think improvisers who are really, really good, who make it seem authentic and really bring that audience in, create this sense of I'm totally taking in what my partner is offering to me.
Right.
Instead of just, what am I going to say next?
By the way, what you talked about, Fred, that's anchoring. Call back to the negotiations episode. People anchor on the first thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Is it a bad thing? Anchoring bad or good?
Well, if you're the user of anchoring, it's great.
Yeah.
If you're the other side, it's not as good. Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is a great callback. And it's a great way to pull those things together, right? Negotiation, John, gold star.
See, I'm actually listening to you.
Go
Occasionally. Not all the time.
Well, you did listen to me and you went to the wrong place earlier. Is that right? Should we talk about that so that people know why you're in a bad mood?
Our studio here moved and somebody forgot to tell me. I'm not going to name names, but it rhymes with Fred Fuller.
His initials are Fred Fuller. Yeah.
I don't want to name any names.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to point out, like in improv, sometimes you lead and sometimes you follow. And that balance is what makes a team.
Right.
So I just want to say, guys, sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow.
True.
That is just stellar. Hey, here's a completely random off topic for you.
Okay.
Can we talk a little bit about the difference between a portmanteau and an acronym?
Portmanteau.
That's what I said.
Is the word. You said portmanteau, which is like Kathmandu and portmanteau together.
Yeah.
Is that a portmanteau?
It actually was. It actually was.
Okay.
But if it made any sense, it would be, but it didn't. So
It sounds like a fancy wine I should know about. Like,
let's keep barreling down the topic at hand.
Oh my gosh.
but now I want to know, because I didn't know there was a difference.
A portmanteau is when you stick two words together so like the car in the grocery store parking lot gets a bunch of shopping carts around it. It's Magna Cartic. Magnet and carts. Like you put two words together and make one word out of it. That's what a portmanteau is.
Like a guesstimate?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
a right example. Right.
Okay.
But an acronym.
An acronym is just the first letter. Right.
So the military is actually full of portmanteaus, not
and acronyms.
Okay.
Yeah.
John was in the military as well.
Really?
So I was enlisted. He was an officer. I did the work. He ate ham
This seems to
sandwiches.
come up a lot, I bet.
More than it needs to.
Yeah. First, all sanity, thank you for your service.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't.
Well, I did the role, but he was.
I'm sorry. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You
Right.
are welcome.
I was, doing paperwork. And
What branch were you in?
we were both Navy.
Both Navy.
Yeah.
Very, very different jobs, though. In all seriousness, aside from that, he was a nuclear engineer on submarines.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Let's use this later.
Yeah.
So we can improv around that somehow. Right.
I love that.
He doesn't like talking about himself.
No?
Where'd you go to college? Where'd you get your MBA, John?
Podcast episode.
Yeah, Wharton.
Yeah. Right.
He hates it. He hates it. So we talk about it in every single episode, Tim.
Sometimes in improv, you have to share a little bit about yourself to build what's going on, right? Yeah.
Fred needles me about this. And
Yeah.
So, I haven't figured out a very good strategy to duck it yet. This is where I need some improv skills training. Like
Yes, and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if somebody gets in my grill, I tend to kind of shut down. So
Yeah.
I need some skills. So.
I personally, and Devin, I'm going to call you. You're not even you don't even have a microphone in front of you, but I like that this has turned into a therapy session for John.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
You know, improv helps people, and that's all I'm saying, right?
It really does.
Just do it.
It really does.
My favorite thing in all of life is getting him in a position where he just is kind of like, oh, you like put a little straight jacket. Oh my God. It's
You know, and this goes back to improv. In order for improv to work, I think of it like two flywheels with a belt. There has to be a little tension, right?
Yeah.
If it's too loose, it won't turn. If it's too tight, it won't turn. There has to be a little bit of tension in order to make it roll. And a relationship has to have a little bit of tension in it.
Yeah. Usually we're pretty good. This is the one area where he makes me seize up.
Yeah.
Like I can't work past it, right? But normally we are pretty good with each other.
I think you're doing great because
thanks.
creativity can only dwell in an arena without judgment. And
This is
lovely.
We're
Right?
living truthfully
I got a
under
bunch.
imaginary circumstances
This is it.
right now,
Okay,
right?
Buddha hog.
Yeah,
Calm
yeah, okay, yeah. I did study this stuff for a minute, actually.
One more time. Truth can only live
creativity can only dwell in an arena that's free of judgment.
free of judgment. Wow.
Use that.
So like
I'm going to steal that. Yeah, for sure.
what we say at I learned this at Second City and Dad's, all the like I think good creative improv places operate from a place of abundance. So like we have creative sessions where like, we just want to get as many ideas out there as possible. Let's go. Here's an idea and just riff, toss it out. Nothing is a bad idea right now. So we get them all out. And then, because you can't edit while you write a book, you have to write it and then you go back and edit
That is
it.
so true. Yes.
So this is the same. Let's put all our ideas out there and then we'll step back. We'll take a break. We'll come back and be like, all right, let's start shifting through these and like, okay, no, that's not going to work. And that's where no is just as powerful as yes. And you can start shaping that. And then you have a list of tangible ideas that you're now going to explore. And then from that, you just keep refining and refining. And from that idea will come. At Second City, we would write scenes and then put them up in front of an audience for the first time. And man, they would bomb sometimes.
Really?
Yes, terrible. And then you'd be in rehearsal and they'd be like, the beginning works. John, that introduction for that scene works great. Tim, got to find something else. So we're going to do it again tonight. But this time, Tim, you're going to change. John, you stay the same.
Yeah.
And then we would find the scene that works. And you would do that over and over again until you refine it down to something that works. And that shows that improv can be a tool to create and find something. The one thing that I think scares people is that failure is also part of that tool.
Right.
You have to fail. And like I had a stand-up friend, and we would talk about stand-up, and he'd be like, "It's not so much that I care what works; I care what doesn't work.
Right.
The stuff that doesn't work, I'll never touch again. But the stuff that kind of worked, I'm going to invest my time in." And to me, that was a great way to refine ideas. Try it. The ones that don't work, great. Don't waste your time on. The ones that do, that's where you invest and keep refining.
This is where, for me, in my experience, this sort of collaboration, if you will, between the creative world and the corporate world. Because what you're talking about, to me, is just true, uninterrupted brainstorming.
Yeah.
Right. That's what that is. It's brainstorming, and the whole premise behind brainstorming is that there are no bad ideas. Like, and in many corporate settings, you before you even get to the second idea, you're starting to vet the ideas already.
Yes.
Right. And like, no, that's not the point. The point is we get this stream of conscious thing going, and we connect random dots that when we come back and look at it, there's flows and things in there that actually make sense.
Yes.
After we evaluate it. But on the surface, it doesn't connect. It doesn't make sense. So we shoot it down. Right.
I was just working with a small team, and they wanted to work on their creative sessions. So I was brought in to be like, this is how we're going to generate ideas, which was totally different from what they had experienced, because what their experience was top down. The top said, we want this, bring us that idea. They come in, no, it should be like this. And they were like, well, why even have this? Just tell us what you want and write it. But if you want to use our talents and skills, how do we create a space where we feel that our ideas are valued, we can explore, and from that, we will create something new that is better than, the idea is better than one of us because it's all of us, right? We all have this idea together. Like, I'm hilarious in my living room alone, right? I kill. But when I'm working with people at Dad's, I am 10 times better because I'm surrounded by people who are smarter, funnier, a better human being than me. And like together, we can generate something better, which I think is why improv is so like
The point you were making a minute ago about creativity and how it has to flow is like, I think that's an underappreciated skill in business. There's a lot of things where if I'm particularly doing like a new initiative in a business, I mean, about 9 times out of 10, it's something I've never done before. And I always try to, in those situations, quote from the first Indiana Jones movie where they're like, "Hey, Indy, what's the plan?" He's like, "I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along." Right? Yeah. Which I think there's value in that a lot of times because it's like, I'll learn, and as long as mistake doesn't actually kill anybody, right? Like it'll probably be okay, right? There's a few mistakes that can do that in a business, generally.
I mean, the first thing like they tell you when you're in crisis is calm down, right?
Yeah.
Find your breath, relax, and then you'll decide what to do. Because if you're operating out of a place of emotional panic, you're probably not going to make the best decisions. Right. But it's really, really hard to do. And I think improv on a very minute level puts your brain in a little bit of shock of like, I don't know what to do next. What am I going to do? We're going to figure it out together.
Right.
It's it's a little bit like the first time you play an organized sport, right? When I played 1 million hours of sandlot football, right? Go grab the kids in the neighborhood, go throw the ball around, play, whatever, right?
You told me you were a band kid.
A piccolo. I could do both.
Oh,
I actually played the game, came out at halftime, played the piccolo, went back, changed. I could do it all, man.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. It's pretty.
All in the sand? Did you grow up on the beach?
Do you guys need piccolo players? It's a great dad's garage.
Look, man.
I mean,
the secret to comedy is a piccolo. No one expects it, but everybody wants it.
Did you grow up on a beach?
Yeah, sand football.
That got me. All right.
I'll talk to the adults that are listening to this right now.
Because it's the little things, right? You want to listen to the little things.
Details.
It's the details that are the, that's the spice. That's the sweet stuff.
Tim, you've been uninvited. You unsubscribe right now. Right now. But when you go play organized sport and then you all of a sudden have a position and they say your assignment is blah, like that becomes different, right?
Yep.
So you stop being an athlete and you start being very mechanical about what your job is. And then once you get back to being an athlete, that's when you really excel at the position.
Yeah.
But if you're focused on that technical stuff, like you're never going to hit that, right? Like run as fast, be as quick, your instincts, your intuition, all those things. And so these things all fall into place. It's fascinating, the overlap between what you learn in improv, in theater, in arts, and how it translates to every other aspect of life.
Yeah.
Enjoying the podcast but want to learn more best practices for account management? Pick up a copy of A Dragon Walks Into a Meeting, a tactical guide to client management. Available at Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Yeah. It's amazing where art can show up.
Yeah, that's right.
During COVID, I moved back home to the farm in Wisconsin, and I started doing carpentry because there was no work for much anything, right? And I was working on this door I was making for somebody, and my dad came out, was a theater director for 50 years, and he was looking at it, and he's like, "Well, how'd you do this? And then why'd you do that?" And then he stopped, and he goes, "Oh, you're an artist." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, I always pictured you just as an actor or an improviser, but he's like, you're an artist. You create out of whatever you're given. And it was one of the proudest moments I had to show my father that. But it also taught me like there is art in numbers. There is art in organization. There is art in so many different fields where someone can be an artist and let their artistic expression come out. Besides just you do this, you do that, you do this.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we've talked on a couple of bigger kind of topics around improv. So we talk about active listening. We talked about like kind of the yes and, which everybody knows.
And I think that the one thing on listening is it's not listening to respond, it's listening to understand. We all can listen to respond because it's just in the actor world, it's blah, 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 my line, blah, 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 my line, blah, 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 my line. But really listening to what someone's saying to you and being affected by it, that's really listening. And then you respond from a place of authenticness.
Authenticity?
That's the one.
Yes, portmanteaus. Yeah. There we go.
That was just a word. That was just a word. It wasn't.
No, it didn't qualify.
John, make me feel better. Make me feel better, John.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think he corrects me in every episode. There's something. What was it? Scourge?
Yeah. We'll talk about Fred's pronunciation of words later. It's not important.
Scourge is great. It sounds like a villain out of an 80s cartoon. Scourge.
Scourge, yeah. But scourge. So, there's that English language too. He's so snippety about that kind of stuff, man. Yeah, like when you mispronounce words, like here we are trying to educate people and
That's the balance, right?
not
Yeah, that's
perfect. Damn near.
Perfection. Right.
Damn near.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, now let's get back to it, John.
All right.
Thoughts, questions on improv? You
I want to talk a little bit more about yes and.
okay? Let's do it.
And do we want to try any?
Ooh.
That would be
Well, Tim would have to be like the judge
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, here's a pork chop. Y'all figure it out." Right?
well, okay. We'll come back to that. Just for our audience, talk a little bit more about yes and,
Yeah.
and like what that means and how it works. That'd be great to hear.
I think like one of the simplest ways I've distilled it down to get people to understand yes and it's like imagine you go on a date with somebody and you ask them questions and they give you a one-word response. No. Yeah. Kind of. Man, it is really hard. And you're like, I'm working really hard to make this conversation. And yes and is a way to build the conversation together, right? Yep. So I played a lot of sandlot football. And then I would like, oh yeah, so did I. And I love being outdoors. You're like, yes, I was outdoors. And we start building this together, listening to one another. We're leading, we're following, we're adding information. We're agreeing to explore this idea together. I think something that comes up is like, you don't have to agree with everything. That's ridiculous. Right. But I'm agreeing to explore this idea with you. So present an idea, let's agree to it, and then let's explore it together. That's it. I had a teacher, and she explained it to us where she had set a big white paper on the wall, and she drew a line, and then somebody else would come up and draw another line. And after like 15 minutes, we painted this picture. And she's like, that's yes and.
Oh, that's good.
The only way you can fail is by not drawing a line. And all you have to do is draw one line. You don't have to know what this picture is at all. You can draw anything you want because the next person's going to add to it. And then slowly together, we start to see this picture of a cabin. Yeah. And we're like, oh, and then it's so obvious. Like, oh, it's a cabin in the woods. That's what we drew.
Yeah.
We didn't start there and we didn't know where we were going during it. But as long as we were supporting one another and adding information, we found it together.
Yeah.
That's
That's
it.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you translate this into the world of the corporate world, into the world of account management, it's really interesting because that's one of the sort of tenets of the book is you can't say no, right? Clients are going to come up with an idea in a meeting, and to them it's the most brilliant idea ever. You know that probably isn't going to be beneficial because there's downside elsewhere. In that moment, you don't look at the counterpart across the table and say, "Yeah, we thought about that." Like blah, right? That's a great idea. Let us explore that a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of take that under advisement, kind of a thing. Even if you know that it probably isn't really going to be the thing that changes the trajectory. Right?
Yeah, because I don't have to agree to your idea, but I'm agreeing that you're thinking about something creatively.
Yes. That's
Brilliant.
great. Right.
So like, I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say, oh, it's really interesting. Let's explore that idea of what if we did it like that, or what, and then they feel they've been listened to, they feel valued, and now they're more engaged to be like, well, I want to add more to this. Now I'm yes-anding that, and I'm in an arena where there's no judgment, creativity's dwelling. We don't have to build the cathedral alone. We're going to do it brick by brick.
Right.
And then like all the other analogies I can throw at you come true.
I was waiting.
Yeah, right?
I was hoping for more.
I know. I was like, I ran out of it, right? I was like,
Come on, man, where are we going? I need more here.
I analogied out.
You know,
Is that a portmanteau?
if you said Anala out,
Anala out?
it would be like we just put the two words together.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would be a portmanteau.
Portmanteau.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, we are deep here, people.
Yeah.
We are deep. The hooded
deep.
falcon brings it strong.
So it's great about that. We talk about this in our in our book and our podcast about account management a lot. It's like kind of how to say no to a client. And what we really kind of say is, don't say no, more or less. I mean, there are times where you where you do have to kind of make clear the position of your company, particularly in a negotiation or something like that. But when somebody's, what we really talk about tends to be more about ideation, and in software businesses, a lot of times you'll get requests from people that are like, hey, why don't you add this feature? Well, it turns out that nobody else wants that feature, right? And you would waste your team's time by asking for it to be built. But to your point, exactly, like just spend the time exploring that idea with the person and being really open to it and saying, hey, tell me more about what you're thinking about that. Let's learn more. And, it just the listening part of it without necessarily agreeing to it and saying, I'll take that back. Like they get it. They, that's enough.
And the people who are really skilled at it will loop it back around where that person will be like, well, maybe it's not that app. Maybe what we really need is this. And you're like, yeah, I think you're right. It's this. And then they feel like they have been a part of it, and you're guiding this creative path to follow. And together you arrive at maybe a new or different or even better idea to something.
Yeah.
That's collaboration. That's creative collaboration right there.
Yeah.
That's and it's great to have that additional context, right? Yes, and we don't say no on the surface, like those things explain themselves. But when you go down another layer or two, that yes, and that's really interesting. Tell me a little bit more about where that came from and what you're thinking, right?
Yes.
Like that is the stuff that it's about validating somebody's feelings, right? Like, and as a client manager, as an account manager, it's your job.
Yeah.
Right? Your job is to build relationships, and you build relationships through building trust, and you build trust with people by listening to them and valuing their opinion, right?
Tim, talk a little bit about, I remember one of the concepts I learned the first time I did improv with you guys was, I think it's called bulldozing.
Yeah.
Talk about a little bit about what that is.
So like there's certain words we use as like jargon for us in improv. And one is bulldozing, where someone is in control of the scene and just pushing their agenda forward.
Right.
Not listening, but this is what I want, right? Instead of, well, you have to listen to what other people are bringing. It's not just your scene, it's our scene. The bulldozing element is someone's like, no, we're at a park. And someone brings an offer like, oh man, the cows got out. And they're like, no, there's no cows because we're at a park. It's like, you're not listening, you're not collaborating. You want this to do it. You're a bulldozing, you're pushing your idea forward.
Yeah. Someone said that to me during the training. Hey, you're like, one of the people kind of leaned in, hey, you're bulldozing. And I had 2 seconds of like, okay.
Yeah.
Stop. but it was such a great word. It stuck with me forever after that. Right.
Another one, debating. People are going back and forth and not just making a clear point.
Right.
Because I don't know if it's right or wrong, but let's just make it clear, and then we can be able to operate on it. It's like, is this shoe red? I don't know. Yes or no, man. From that, we will figure it out. And if you say yes, I guarantee it'll get more interesting than no.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, there are, because I think as people, we have certain identities we hold on to. And that comes up in our improv, obviously with our work too, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
Because not knowing is seen as negative. Silence is seen as negative in our culture. Where if you ask a question, someone sits there, you're like, oh, they're not responding. They don't know what to respond with or whatever. But in improv and in performance, silence is one of the most powerful things you can do.
It draws everybody in.
Draws your attention, right? And then you can hold that and learn how to be comfortable with it. It becomes a really powerful tool in communication.
That is a great observation. I think we even in our negotiation episode talked about that. Like I'm mostly terrible at that, and I've gotten a lot better at it as I've gotten older because I'm using it as. Are you whispering? Yeah, but I'm using it. But I have to consciously remember to use it as a technique.
Yeah,
like it's not natural.
Yeah.
But a lot of times in negotiations, like I'll just kind of go kind of quiet, and then the other person will inevitably open up and just start talking again.
Yes.
Right. And you get more information. And, if you're in a kind of a negotiation that needs this, then getting more information is really useful.
Yeah.
I love we did a couple of episodes on negotiations. And one of the tactics is to repeat something, like you say something to me, like we can't do that because it's going to be problematic. And my response is problematic. And just pause. And they will respond. They will elaborate. They will fill the air. And then because we're morons, we just started doing that to each other for the whole episode. It was the dumbest thing ever. It was the dumbest thing ever. But God, it was fun.
The episode was 45 minutes, 12 minutes of talking.
Dumbest thing ever?
Yeah, it was when I say dumb. That's right. So priceless. So priceless. Well, I think this has been really, I mean, incredibly useful, incredibly insightful. Improv is something that we have both leaned into. I'm a former Reform theater nerd. I've always seen the power in it. I think it's a really valuable tool. And I think the more that the corporate world can look outside of the corporate landscape for solutions, the better they will be, the stronger they will be, the smarter they can be.
And we have found, like, in the last couple of years, with AI being now such a huge tool in the world, the one thing that people are valuing more are relationships, how you communicate with people.
I'm so glad you said that.
And that's something like, we just need our two teams. We need our engineers and our salespeople to talk. Because they can't just go over email and they can't just send text. We need them to understand one another. So when a salesperson says, this is the problem I'm having, the engineer can be like, oh, I understand, now I can solve it, and vice versa. And that's where real communication happens.
I'm so glad you said that. I've been saying that a lot at work lately about AI. Like, I think what it will do is drive more people into roles that require human on human interaction, because like the reality is people buy from people, unless you're buying something that's kind of off the shelf. And particularly business to business interactions, like you have to buy, like it has to be a person you pick up the phone and call when something is not right. And it's just a requirement. And so I actually think it'll open up the sales field for more and more people to, or account management or any kind of client interaction thing. I think there'll be more hiring there, right? Because companies will shift resources towards those things, because it's like things only humans can do.
Yeah.
100%.
It makes us feel, I think more human feels connected. We were just talking about this, how after a show, when you go to the lobby and there's people hanging out, a good show, it's a good show when the audience comes up and you're like, that was really great. Thanks for doing that. I had a lot of fun. There's nothing wrong with that. That's wonderful. You had a great show when they want to talk to you. Because they want to have a connection with you, because they feel like they have a personal connection with you.
Oh, interesting.
There have been times where people have come up to me years after and share like, hey, Tim, remember that goat scene you did? Remember you were the talking goat? I have no idea. I've done many a talking goat scenes in my life.
Tuesday night. Who hasn't?
You're right. But they connected to it. So they feel like they know you. And they're like, right, remember that? Because they had this experience.
Yeah.
And then now we're like, oh, we're sharing experience. And that's where I think the human connection, we value that. We all want that. We all want to feel that connection between things. And I think in improv, when you do a really great show, people feel that way. They feel connected to you, not just a voyeur watching, but connected.
Yeah.
It's I feel like I've said this to a few people recently, but it is a drug.
Yeah.
I mean, when you are on a stage and you connect with an audience, like of all the addictions in the world, like big rock stars that go out and jam to a stadium of 80,000 people, I'm like, I understand how you have problems, because you're trying to replace that feeling, and there is nothing on the planet that will replace that feeling. And even in a small theater house, when you connect with an audience, even if it's 75 people, it's a drug.
Making somebody laugh is the biggest drug in the world.
Yeah.
It's dangerous because you just keep chasing that.
Yeah.
Instead of really connecting. Yeah. It's a wonderful drug. Like I always say this, I am amazed. I'll be in a show and I'll look out to the audience and I see 150 people, strangers who don't know one another, are connecting in agreement, and laughter is an agreement. There's some sort of like, oh, we're laughing together. And they look across the room to somebody they may have never talked to in their whole life or wouldn't talk to, but they have that like silent agreement. This is funny. And to be the catalyst for that is the most humblest things I could ask for. And to know that I am a part of that with my friends who are just making things up. If we can get a group of people to unify in something positive just for 5 minutes, I think we've done something. I'm not saying I can change the world, but for that 5 minutes, we've made it better.
We made it better for 150 people.
Right. And I think anytime we feel better about something, that is a good thing.
Yep.
And not to bring it back, but like going in and working with teams. And when they leave and they're energized and they're like, hey, Brenda, we got to work on that. Remember that? Oh, I got a great idea for that. You see that. Or I'll be in a workshop and I don't even get through all the stuff I need to because they start talking to one another. And they're like, well, how do we do that? Well, I have an idea. Then it's like, done. I think that's one of the the extra perks to improv is that it generates ideas. It generates this connectiveness, the cohesiveness of wanting to yes and one another to find something better.
And when you do these things, what we're talking about now is we're talking about being on stage and we're talking about audiences. But the reality is you can do this exactly as we're discussing one-on-one in meetings with your business counterparts. You can make them feel just as special as the audience feels as a collective. And you can create those connections. And that's what these tools allow you to do, right?
Yeah. Communication, collaboration, creativity, success right there.
Yeah.
That is a solid note. So before we wrap, anything going on at Dad's Garage that you want to plug? I'm putting you on the spot here, but
thank you for that. Because there is always something going on at Dad's Garage. We offer classes throughout the year, levels 1 through 5, and we get people from all walks of life. We get young people who are interested in exploring this as a performance, and we get people who are on their 3rd or 4th career to retirees who are just trying something different. So it's a wonderful place to meet people that you may have never communicated with before and supporting one another. So there's always classes. We have shows going on Thursday through Saturday every weekend of the year. Every show in my book is great. Come check it out. If you've never gone and seen an improv show before, yes and it, and go check it out. You'll find the ones that you like and that you're like, oh, like we have an improvised one that's sort of like an improvised role-playing game, like something like Dungeons and Dragons. We have an improvised soap opera coming up. We have theater sports, which is short form improv. If you've ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's like that. What I love about improv theater is that the audience are part of the experience.
So I'll give you my plug for Dad's Garage. I'm a fan, and I've known people and been a participant in just going to plays, what have you, for you guys have been around for 30 years or something like that.
30 years.
And so taking the improv class is an incredible experience. The young lady that teaches our class, Allison, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So my experience at improv is actually this invasion, which we talked about a little bit earlier. But what this is it's a Christmas Carol, and so they have a ensemble that's going to come out and perform the play, The Christmas Carol. But they get invaded by a special character. They don't know who the special character is beforehand, and then that character story kind of gets woven together with A Christmas Carol. It's improv, and it is the funniest 2 hours. So the last one we went to was Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and so that got really interesting. The other one, we've been to 3. The other one that was really, really incredible was the first year we went, and it was Rocky Balboa. Yeah. So Rocky invaded in the middle of A Christmas Carol, and those stories, you can see the potential. It is so funny. It is such a wonderful experience. So very, very talented cast and crew.
It is the most unique form of theater that's out there right now. And look, A Mind in Panic is a beautiful thing to watch. Seeing a cast who have practiced Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, and the next thing you know, you have 4 Ghostbusters coming in, and they're all like, well, we have to figure out how we're going to make this work. And the audience is part of that experience. They feel they are a part of it. And I think that's what makes it so captivating to watch. And then every night it's something different. So you'll see, Belle from Beauty and the Beast one night. The next night, you're going to see the Harlem Globetrotters invade.
It's so stellar.
It's chaos in its most purest, wonderful form, and it is creating theater in the moment. I don't want to say it, but we're changing American theater. And I said it there.
Here we go.
Yeah. Here's my plug on top of your plug. If you're an account management leader, or in Atlanta, call Dad's Garage tomorrow and set up a training. Is really the point of this episode. It's not as expensive as you think it is. If you're, unless you're what? We can't talk about money?
Yeah, no, we can talk about, Okay. Well,
and then secondly, if you are an account manager here in Atlanta, go call your boss right now and say, hey, we need to do this. It'll be one of the best things you've ever done. If you're not in Atlanta, Good luck. No, there are improv groups in every
There
city,
is.
right?
There's tons out there. And yeah, thank you. Like we do a lot of, we call it corporate training.
Yep.
We do a lot of work. We have a lot of sales teams. We have like junior associates. We have new hires, talent development, like whatever the organization is need, or just teams who are like, we just need to refresh on how to communicate, collaborate, and be creative together. All of them are the ones that take it and say, why didn't we do this 5 years ago?
Yeah.
I didn't even know this was. We've been throwing axes for 5 years as our team building, and this was much more effective.
It's team building and learning all at once.
Yeah.
It's the best thing.
Yeah.
And it's a break, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
really kind of taking a day off because I'm telling you, everybody will be nervous about it. They think they got to get up there and shine and be really funny and creative. And then once they get into it and realize there's no pressure, I've never talked to anybody that walked out of it and was like, meh.
Yeah.
Like everybody by the end of
They
it
love
warms up to.
We
The
do
biggest introverts were some of the best.
right? And stars. Everybody leaves and he's like, do you see Dale? Dale was a giant. That was amazing. And everybody's like, yeah. We do a lot of like CLE training for lawyers because you're like, look, I can sit and watch a lecture for 2 hours and check the box, or I can actually get up and through experiential learning, try these skills out. And the great thing I love about like improv workshop is it's a safe place, right? You're going to get up and be able to work with John on how to do this technique that you're trying to work on for accountants. And you get that chance to do it, get some feedback. So when you're out in the real world, you're like, oh, I've done this a couple times. I kind of have the skills I need to be based off this experience. Experiential learning at its finest.
How can they get in touch with you?
You can just email me at tim@dadsgarage.com or go to our website and click on that. Always willing to sit down and listen. I'm going to listen to what you're thinking about and what your needs are, and I'm going to yes and them and support you as best I can.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For the lawyers, like,
Yeah.
what were the prompts? Was it like you're a lawyer, but secretly you're a vampire?
I'm really curious of why that's your idea.
Well, I don't know.
I think it's awesome.
I'm trying to think of an improv prompt, like
We're not going to alienate
you're
the
a
legal
lawyer, but
community.
your soul has been sucked into the copier machine, and now you're part of the copier. I don't know.
No, actually, I'll do a quick demonstration for you.
Okay.
This is it, right? Like it's understanding what's being said to you before just responding, right? So you and I are going to have a conversation.
Oh, okay. See, that's
But,
I love
but,
it. You're in
but
trouble.
you have to start your conversation with my last word of the sentence. And
word
then
of the sentence.
I have to start my sentence with your last word of the sentence. So you can say anything and we'll start you off. Go ahead. You can say anything you want to me and then I'll respond.
Tim, thank you so much for coming on our podcast. We really appreciate you being here.
Here is a state of mind that I'm always trying to find my more, ground my feet and be more present in.
In that being present is such a big part of improv.
Improv has been something that has saved me through many awkward situations.
Situation awareness is a big part of being really great at improv. Situation awareness is also telling your partner that the podcast studio has moved and maybe you need to go to the new address.
Now that's a callback, and that's pretty good.
Insert portmanteau.
But that's it, right? Yeah. So often with lawyers, you're dealing with clients, and sometimes you're having hard conversations, talking about difficult things. But if you can just wait and understand what they're saying, then respond, you're building that together instead of like, yeah, I got you. Like being present in the moment, listening. Just one of the skills that comes up a lot. And that was a great callback.
See that callback?
Yeah, that's a great callback right there.
Tim, we talked about you being invited again. I told you earlier it's in jeopardy.
John might invite me.
I'm thinking about a new writing partner.
Oh, yeah. I got a great idea about
accounting.
I got a great idea about an accountant who's really a vampire. Yeah.
Okay, good, perfect.
All right. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, for Tim Stoltenberg, John Brown, I'm Fred Fuller. Thanks for tuning in.
Learn more about the art and science of account management. Pick up A Dragon Walks Into a Meeting, a tactical guide to client management. Digital and print editions available at Amazon or your favorite bookseller. Fred and John would like to hear from you. Leave a comment for us on YouTube and head over to fuller-brown.com for more great content.